Right now, everybody is talking about Claude Cowork, but most explanations are too technical, assume that you know things that you don't, skip some steps, or are just full of hype and pretending that it's something that it's not. So in this video, I'll teach you everything you need to know about Claude Cowork for beginners, for normal people, with every single thing explained. We'll cover how to install it, how to start using it, and what you need to start using it, the best use cases and some fun new use cases that you can try it out with, what it's good at and what it is not good at, and whether it's worth it, as well as a few other things. I'll show you real demos, walk through it all, and I try really hard to not use jargon, to explain things that are kind of complicated, but in a simple way. And if you're new here, my name is Ben. I'm part of the team at a YC AI startup, so I live in this world kind of full time. I've been using Claude Cowork a lot. I love learning about, playing with these tools, and helping teach other people about them as well. By the way, there's timestamps at the bottom if you're short on time. With that, let's jump in. So first of all, what even is Claude Cowork? Their tagline is Claude Code for the rest of your work. But if you haven't used Claude Code before, that's not really that helpful. So the best way to think about it is most AI is like asking a really smart friend what to do. Like, hey man, I need some advice. How would you approach this? They'll tell you, you go and do it. Claude Cowork is like handing that person your desk, your files, your computers, everything that you have, and saying, hey, can you just do it for me? So Claude Cowork has access to a bunch of things. It has access to local files on your desktop, if you allow it. Obviously, this is permission-based. It has access to browse the web and click around, take actions on your behalf on websites. And it thinks through all of this in a multi-step process, which is something that regular Claude, just in the chat, doesn't do. And Claude Cowork is a new tool from Anthropic that was released on January 12th, 2026. It was then released for Windows on February 10th, 2026. And a fun fact, it was actually built in 10 days by using Claude Code. The Anthropic team just literally used Claude Code to make this whole thing. It is still an early research preview at the time of this video, which means it's not working perfectly. Expect a few bugs and things to come up, but it is pretty good. Now let's get into Claude Cowork and talk about how to set this up. If you're new to Claude Cowork, there are two things that you need in order to use it. The first is if you are on the web app, you're gonna need the desktop app, but you can get that by going over here, clicking this little download button, and then download from macOS. The other thing is you will need a pro plan or higher, so that's $20 a month or higher. I'm just running it off the $20 a month one, but we'll talk about do you need like the max plan, which are the more expensive ones, later on. So now that we're here, we're in Claude, but we are currently in chat, if you can see up at the top. There's also Claude Code, but right in the middle is what we want, Claude Cowork. So click that. So it looks pretty similar to a normal Claude Chat. The one thing that really changes is you can have it work in a folder. So you select the folder that you want it to be operating in, making changes in. So you can select any and every folder that you want, but one important note here is it's always recommended to back up files that you're going to have Claude Cowork work on, which means just creating a copy of it for it to work in that folder. And then if you need to, you can always duplicate it back over. So I have a folder for Claude that's just called my workspace folder. So I'm gonna select that. We'll see in here I have a downloads copy folder. That's a copy of my regular downloads. We're gonna use that in a second, but I just duplicated that so that it's separate and everything is still backed up in my original downloads folder. And now it works fairly similarly to Claude. You tell it what you want it to do. It's going to come up with a plan for that, how it'll approach it, show it to you. You can approve it or make changes if needed, and then it will go off and do the work. This is really important for safety, so you can review every step, you know what it's planning to do. It doesn't go off and make all these crazy things happen that you weren't expecting. And if you're wondering what Claude Cowork can connect to, there's a few things. So the main one is the local files like I talked about, but it also can connect to what they call connectors, which are other tools like Google Drive, Notion, etc. If you click Manage Connectors here, you can choose more connectors. So like GitHub is a very popular one, Google Calendar, Gmail would be others. Now regular Claude can connect to these too, so you might be thinking, oh, that's not that special. And that's partly true, but the main differentiator of Claude Cowork is its multi-step process approach. So it's like instead of you just telling it to go grab this thing from Notion, it can now go grab the thing from Notion, cross-reference it with notes that you have saved on your computer from a meeting that was 3 months ago, do some research to compare, do these things make sense, find any key differences, and then give you that output. So it is a more complicated process. It can get more done for you. In terms of other things it can connect to, you can now add plugins, which are like pre-built workflows or tools that Anthropic has created. So you can see they've got ones for like productivity, sales, data, legal, etc. You can also connect to the web via the Claude for Chrome extension. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but it's just an extension you go download from the web store, and then Claude can browse and take actions on your behalf. And one thing that people like to know is when it's accessing documents, it's doing that through an isolated virtual machine on your computer. So it's not like it's uploading those files to the cloud, say giving access to Anthropic, and then taking actions on it. Those files are never leaving your computer. So from a safety and privacy standpoint, it's not being shared externally. All right, now let's talk use cases. The first one is using Claude to clean up files and organize things on your computer. So the prompt I'm gonna use here is look at my downloads folder, propose plan to sort these into logical subfolders with sensible names. I'm also gonna include a file of things to delete, but don't delete them, just sort them into a separate file. Show me the plan before doing anything. And then let's go. Okay, so it has now gone through, come up with the plan. This probably took about a minute, and I'm running Sonnet 4.6. Here's the proposed folder structure. Apps and installers, fonts, books, finance, real estate, social clips, yep, miscellaneous videos, music, but yeah, this is pretty solid. You can see it gave the plan, it's asking for it, so I'm gonna say, yes, please, do it. Now I'll see how it actually performs. As we're waiting for that last one, I moved my setup again, which is my background changed. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm in Mexico right now, so I'm trying to optimize for like good lighting so the video looks okay. I'm at a hostel, it's like 6:30 a.m. right now. As this is working, a few cool things to talk about. One is the progress bar over here, where again, you can see the exact plan and see Claude Cowork moving through this. You'll also be able to see context, so tools and referenced files used in this task, so you kind of know where it's getting its info from. And then if it creates files, it'll put them here and you can see them there. Okay, and it is all done. So it says it's sorted. Let's go check it out. So we're in here, got our downloads copy folder, and boom, now we have all of the folders. Let's check everything's in there. Yup. Perfect. This looks excellent. It looks like it did everything exactly as it should. Put everything in the to delete folder, but didn't delete it, which is great. The second use case we're going to walk through is a reporting demo. So it's going to go and pull reporting data from Google Ads and then turn that into an insight report. Okay, and the prompt I'm going to use here is this. So open my Google Ads account, look at the campaign data from July 1st to July 31st. Write me a short report that covers which ad groups perform the best, cost per result, any other notable items, and then 3 specific recommendations for what to do next. Now, I removed the work in a folder because we don't need that. And again, a key thing here is if you want to have Claude browse the web, you will need to have that Claude for Chrome extension. So you can see here, I actually have my account pulled up. Now, it's going to ask to connect. So I have the Claude for Chrome browser extension there. I have this pulled up so it can find it. And then we're going to hit connect. So you can see now it is connected. And again, if you don't have that, just go to chromewebstore.google.com and then search Claude for Chrome. I think they just call it Claude, actually. So boom, right here, and then just hit install. So I just clicked allow. It can now take actions on Google Ads. So we can see here, now it has signed into Google Ads, which is pretty cool. Okay, so it has now written the report, but I will say this one took a while. So this is one of those examples where it can do it, but it drifted a little bit and just took a while to get there. So keep that in mind if you want to do this. But honestly, that is pretty solid. So these are two really easy, good use cases to get started with, but I don't want to just give two. I think that's too simple, and I think people learn best from examples. So I'm going to show on screen here a few more examples. The next one is notes plus web research. So say you had a meeting, either you took some notes or you had something like Granola, like an AI take notes. Other team members maybe have some historical data. You need to compile that, then go do research based on that and turn it into a report. Claude Cowork can do that. Another one is to auto-generate a weekly PowerPoint. So this is really great if you do like reporting. We used to do this back in my agency days. You know, every Monday you have to pull this data from these different accounts, maybe do some cross-referencing to make sure that it is good and it is correct, and then turn that into a PowerPoint with this consistent formatting. And then a few other ones that I'm just gonna quickly flash up on screen so you can see them and learn from them. So it could be something like this, something like this, or something like this. All right, so you've seen some use cases now, but let's talk about some things that Claude does not do very well. First, and the biggest one to note, is it is still a research preview. It only came out about a month ago, which means it doesn't have access to some of the other things that Claude Chat does, like projects, chat sharing, artifact sharing, and memory. So your memory doesn't work across chats or tasks here. It definitely can make mistakes. People have reported that it has deleted files even when you didn't explicitly ask to. So just be careful of that. You gotta be very explicit in your instructions, and again, that's why you back everything up. The third is context drift on long tasks. So when you have a long task, a lot of stuff to do, it will almost start to forget about all the stuff it was supposed to do and just like go do these other things. You'll still get a lot of the work done, but people have reported kind of like 90% of the work will be done, and then 10 it just forgets about. 4, it does eat through your usage fast. A single Cowork task like research competitors and create a spreadsheet about it can consume as much memory as like 50 to 100 normal chats. That's a lot. And so if you're on the pro plan, like me, the $20 a month one, often like 3 to 5 tasks with Claude Cowork per day could eat through your usage for that day. 5th, connectors and plugins can be a little bit flaky. They just don't always work. Sometimes you have to reconnect multiple times. It's solid, but there's a bit of work to be done. And then you still need to think clearly. This is especially where project description becomes a lot more important, because if you give a really vague task, it can wander a ton and go do things that it shouldn't be doing. When you're using it, if you're wondering how to use it safely, here's some tips. 1, create a dedicated folder like we talk about, so a Claude Cowork workspace, and then duplicate things into there if you need to make changes. You can always duplicate them back over to where they need to be for the final result. Always read the plan before hitting approve. They'll tell you what they're gonna do, so see if it makes sense. I'd recommend starting small. You can add more complexity down the line. And then make sure to always keep your desktop app and computer open. Right now, Claude Cowork only runs if your computer is on. If it shuts down, if you close it, everything will stop. Now, what plan is best for this? You can get it with the Pro plan, which is $20 a month. That's what I have. That definitely works, but expect maybe like 3 to 5 serious tasks per day. If you're starting to use this a lot for daily work, that's probably where you want to start upgrading to the max plan. For $100 a month, you can get the 5X one, or for $200 a month, you can get the 20X one. The 5X is probably good enough to start. Okay, let's talk about holistically how it performs. Things it is pretty good at: file organization, we saw that, excellent. Processing and structuring batches of documents. Combining files with web research, really solid. Creating simple documents is great. I used it the other day to create an Excel file. It did excellent at that. And then repetitive tasks that it's doing consistently. So that's it. I would highly recommend people download this, start playing with it, check it out. It's a great tool. It's going to get better. And so knowing how to use it at any stage is going to be really useful.